morning, Vietnam. Oh my goodness. We hello, hello, hello. You ended up getting a decent car. Good to hear, bro. Good to hear. I have a fever, and the prescription is more Highdeology. Wolfguard. I like it. Calling me by my Nordic name. Wolfgar. Wolfgar. Wolfgar Saltgenstein. Not to be gross or weird, but how are you on whipping? Whipping. You mean wiping? Get the fuck up out of here, bro. Get the fuck up out of here. You're gone. You're gone. You're banned forever. Forever. Oh, wowza. Imagine walking into a man's house and asking him how he's doing wiping. I know. That's why he got banned. I just cut, like, especially like right at the beginning. It'd be one thing if dude was like a long-term friend of mine, but as far as I'm concerned, I just met guy and he comes in here and he goes, "Hey, how you doing with wiping?" It's like, the door's over there, bro. Turn around and leave. You're gone. You're gone. Oh, goodness gracious. Hey, Paul, nice to see you. On a scale of 1 to 10, how loose is your stool? Right? I think the idea of karma was invented to help people cope with the fact that a lot of humans are shitty thoughts. Well, yeah, here's the thing. The human ego wants to win and wants to be recognized and glorified, right? The human ego seeks support. And when we watch people who we believe in our very souls are wrong continue to be wrong and suffer no consequences for it, we like to imagine that those people are banking bad will and that they will pay for it somewhere later in their lives. The truth of the matter is that nobody pays for anything after they're dead. You know what I mean? Like, their legacy may pay, but a human being is a biological machine. When that biological machine stops running, nobody's paying. That's basically the point of hell as a concept too, right? Any kind of like aspect of religion that has a negative connotation for non-adherence is all just ego, like the shoring up of the egos of the people that follow that. They have to feel right. They can't be made right in life, because oftentimes people that do, in their minds, shitty things go on to be incredibly successful, incredibly powerful, incredibly influential people, and they can't throw enough hate at it. They can't quote enough scripture at it to make it go away, right? And so they got to believe that, oh, well, when this person dies, all those worldly treasures that they got, that's not going to mean anything because they're going to be in hell or they're going to come back as a fucking banana slug or something. Whatever you got to believe to make yourself right when you can't be. I think the idea of karma was invented. Oh, yeah. We already read that one. To me, karma is a gift. You have to accept your karma in order to evolve. Okay, whatever you say. I mean, being a banana slug might be pretty cool. I don't know. These ciga-like joints, I feel like I shouldn't smoke them like cigarettes. I feel like I should hit them like a J, but they're they're just too cigarette-like for me to not treat them like a cigarette. All right, let's put this one down for a minute. Let's not let's not have a repeat of last night's performance on these pre-rolls. Holy shit. Karma is a cruel concept. What did a Harlequin baby to do to have that kind of karma? In their previous life, they were a fucking rapist or something. You don't know? You don't know how that works? You come out as a Harlequin fetus, dude. In a previous life, you were a total fucking rapist. Total piece of shit. Murdering, rapist, thief. My old age, dude. No. No, bro. I'm 41. You can't start talking to me like I'm fucking completely decrepit yet. Okay? 20 more years, yeah. Come on. Come on. You can't start talking to me like I'm fucking literally a grandpa now, you know? My old age. I mean, if you guys are going to talk to me that way, I'm going to start talking to you like kids. I kind of do that already. Maybe I deserve it. There's some times where I got to break down some concepts in very simplistic terms, you know? Very simplistic terms. Hey, Gramps, do you remember the day to take your Ensure vitamins? Yes, I did. I remember. Took. Old Man Parky. You can do anything you want in our Italian restaurant. I don't think that's how the song goes. I don't think you can do anything you want. I think you can order anything you want, but I like to do anything you want. Paul, what books do you recommend on Audible? Probably one of the best values you can get on Audible is you can get for the same price as any other one single book, the entire collection of H.P. Lovecraft's fiction, all in one book. Here's my naughty priest impersonation. Well, thank you. You can order anything you want at any restaurant. You just won't necessarily get it. But at our Italian restaurant, you can order anything you want. Bottle of red, bottle of white. All depends on your appetite. You can get anything you want at our Italian restaurant. Only at ours, though. Our Italian restaurant is the only Italian restaurant where that's true. Oh man, yeah. I really recommend that. I mean it's a really good value too. It's like hours and hours and hours of all his short stories. They're all performed really well by people that know how to pronounce all of the Lovecraft words, you know what I mean? Like so H.P. Lovecraft was known for having this very like pompous erudite kind of way of writing. He was in love with certain words like you'll find the word demoniac like 10 times in some stories. Like, he loved the word demoniac. But anyway, yeah, it's run by the H.P. Lovecraft Historical Society, or the one that I'm talking about is the one from the H.P. Lovecraft Historical Society. So the dudes, all the people that read the stories, I think there's 3 dudes that read the stories. They're all like, they all know all the words, they know the pronunciations. Some of them even do like really good different like New England accents and stuff to so it's really good. It's really good. It dresses up like, because here's the thing about Lovecraft. I tried to read Lovecraft at a younger age, like in my early 20s. I remember trying to sit down and really read some Lovecraft, and I found it like really dense at that time in my life. The book, on like the audio book version of it, does a really good job of showing you the life and vibrance that are inherent in those stories. If you do end up picking it up for 1 credit on Audible or whatever, I recommend that you listen to At the Mountains of Madness. I recommend that you listen to The Dunwich Horror. I recommend that you listen to The Shadow over Innsmouth. I recommend that you listen to, despite its entirely racist connotation, I'm trying to remember the name of it. The Horror at Red Hook. The Horror at Red Hook. I really recommend you read that or listen to that one. Some of them are very short. All of them are very engrossing to listen to, but those are my favorite ones to go back to, especially At the Mountains of Madness, which is one of the wordiest stories. He puts so much surreptitious, like unnecessary detail, like scientific, like he gives you latitudes and longitudes and shit, and sometimes there'll be like a minute where he's quoting another book just because he wanted to like stroke off to another author. So it's, it's a very dense story, but it's also really cool, really interesting. Oh yeah, dude, H.P. Lovecraft was a total fucking like piece of work as a human being. Completely and utterly, like, you could tell. It's actually a really good study reading H.P. Lovecraft's work. If you listen to a story like The Horror at Red Hook, which is a story about, it's basically a story about a guy that gets caught up in an investigation that takes him to this part of New York called, or is it Boston or New York? I can't remember. I think it's New York, called Red Hook, which at the time that H.P. Lovecraft was alive was like a huge immigrant area of New York. And that was the most terrifying thing in the world to H.P. Lovecraft. He was desperately afraid of minorities. Like, you can feel it coming out of his writing. And it really is great living evidence that at the root of virulent racism is fear of the other. Like, you hear it throughout all his stories, all of his stories. Dude, At the Mountains of Madness is really good. You have to get, like, it's slow. It's like a really slow burn. It starts with this expedition and tons of exposition about the expedition and tons of like detail about the expedition to Antarctica, but it ends in a completely insane place. And it moves to a completely insane place, and it gives this kind of anthropological overview of the old ones. It really is a Rosetta Stone if you want to understand H.P. Lovecraft's like fictive universe, because all of his books, well, not all, most of his works take place in a fictive universe that he created for himself, and all of them reference one another or reference certain things, like the Necronomicon by the mad Arab Abdul al-Hazred. That pops up a million times. Like, that's the source of all the lore on the old ones and the Cthulhu cult and all of that, right? shows up over and over and over again. So it's really interesting when you listen to all of Lovecraft's works to see how the puzzle pieces fit together, to see how he really did create this universe within our universe, you know. Color Out of Space, yeah, is actually a great one too. It's read because it's not chaptered; it's just one long story. So it's read in one long hour and 45-minute block, I think, on the Audible book that I'm talking about, and it's really good. Yeah, there's a whole religion to it. There's a whole prehistory of the Earth. There's a whole explanation for the creation of life on Earth, or at least the rapid mutation of life on Earth. It's like, I don't know, really interesting stuff. But at the core of a lot of his work was a genuine and honest fear of the other. In his case, minorities. Hello, Paul. Happy Easter. Easter. I mean, I think you spelled Shub-Niggurath the wrong way, but yes. I mean, in a couple of stories, Lovecraft wrote his own cat in, and his cat's name was N-Word Man. Had a black cat named N-Word Man, and so he wrote his own cat into a couple of the stories. I think most prominently, The Rats in the Walls, which is another pretty good one. I don't really think it matters, man. If you want to read the book before it comes out, I mean, these movies are always balance between fan service and trying to draw new eyeballs and new interest and new people into these franchises. So if you don't want to read Dune, don't. Just watch the movie. And if you do want to read Dune and get some context for the movie prior to seeing it, do that. You know? He captured old, creepy, rural house vibes well, too. Yeah, if you really look into it, like in the Dunwich Horror, he also had a huge, like, he was a huge fucking snob. Like, Lovecraft was a gigantic fucking snob, and really, like, not only looked at minorities, but poor people and people that lived in rundown towns or smaller towns as all deviant, all a little twisted, all a little too stupid to kind of exist in his world. You know what I mean? You really hear it in the Dunwich Horror. Like when he describes the little city of, the little town of Dunwich, it's just like, basically everybody's a giant hillbilly, and everybody's fucking a little bit shady, and something went wrong with these people genetically, and they're all a little fucked up, and they're all, you know what I mean? It's like all poor people are kind of fucked up. They're not real men and ladies like he's used to in Providence, Rhode Island, which he writes very glowingly about. Providence, Rhode Island, and Miskatonic University. Miskatonic University in Providence, Rhode Island is truly real civilization. But just off the tract, a few miles into the dusty, hard-scrabble mountains, you'll find a town forgotten by time and industry. You know what I mean? It's a place where the bulging eyes and gaunt faces of the residents tells you all you need know about what they know about the world. Their world is an elemental one of dirt and hard, stony soil that does not give up much vegetation. You know what I mean? It's just like, just slack-jawed, drooling. The utter simplicity of these people is quite disgusting to see. Yeah, dirt people, yeah. He was writing a diss track, basically, yeah. I mean, a lot of his stories are that way. A lot of his stories, you know, the central character is a very learned, well-to-do man from good Mayflower stock who, is independently wealthy enough to travel the country in his studies and, comes across some part of the vile Necronomicon by that mad Arab Abdul al-Hazred. Lovecraft racist as fuck. Racist as fuck. Okay, so you want to see a good Lovecraft racism? Let's set aside the N-word man cat. Specifically racist? Yes. Okay. In the story, Herbert West Reanimator is one of the most stark examples of Lovecraftian racism that you will see. In that story, the main narrator is the assistant to this brilliant, rich neurosurgeon doctor guy from Miskatonic University named Herbert West, who is obsessed with trying to bring people back to life. And they need fresh bodies for that. And one of the first bodies that they get is a quote-unquote Negro body. And he goes into full detail describing the proportions of a Negro and how ape-like and primitive. And he talks about, like, just looking at the thing. He calls it a thing, by the way. He calls the black man's corpse a thing. Just looking at the thing raised, distant thoughts of Congolese ritual and dark jungle howlings. You know what I mean? And this is like just a black dude from town that died. When the corpse of the black dude comes back to life, he describes it as its knuckles only inches from the ground. So, like, literally like a knuckle dragger. Like, literally, like, almost looks like it would walk with its hands. Its arms were so long. He literally does, like, you've seen the old racist cartoon caricatures of black people where they're made to look ape-like because they've got long arms and they do the ape face and all of that shit. He literally just describes that. And this is this is just a black person in town that died. You know what I mean? So yes, Lovecraft was 100% incontrovertibly racist. Not a nary a doubt in my mind about that. Also, not for nothing, Lovecraft didn't really understand how insanity works. Well, right, sure. There's a lot of misunderstandings about people who are, quote unquote, crazy or insane. Yeah, you're right about that, too. I mean, look, you have to understand, this was a very sheltered, very, very psychologically damaged, fearful person who just happened to have a brilliant mind. You know what I mean? And their work is laced with a bunch of shit that hasn't aged well, but is relatively reflective of racist attitudes at his, time in America. You know what I mean? I happen to think that Lovecraft was a little extra racist, even given the time that he lived in. But, those attitudes were certainly there, certainly present, and are definitely reflected in his writings. Do you think that with racial diversity comes never-ending conflict? No. I think with racial diversity comes the eventual homogenization of race and culture on this planet, which I believe is a beautiful thing. I believe that human beings, having transcended the problem of geography, are now intermingling with one another. And yes, there's a cultural clash going on in some cases, but at the end of that clash, I believe will be a beautiful homogenization of those two cultures. And eventually, on a long enough time scale, those races. You know what I mean? On a long enough time scale, given our level of technology and the amount of travel that happens between places only increasing exponentially as time goes on, the amount of migration from these places increasing and between these places increasing exponentially as time goes on, as the fucking human population increases. The end result on a long enough time scale, assuming we don't die in the coming climate collapse or kill ourselves in nuclear war, is that everybody is all of one human race. We're all a blend of all of that beauty. We have all of that. All of those cultures may remain regional, but we'd all have a piece of it in us. We would all be one people on the globe. What do you think about the BLM movement? That's still going strong? To be honest with you, I don't know. I don't know if it's still going strong. I assume it is. I do find it strange that the demonstrations have slowed down now that the pandemic is, showing signs of at least lifting a bit. But to be quite frank with you, when it comes to the inner workings of the movement, I don't know how things are going. Yeah, I was told the other day that an old term that was used when I was a kid is now problematic. And I want to run it by you guys. Melting pot. Like they're referring to America as a melting pot. This was all throughout my childhood, all throughout my education. And I really resonated with that term. You're the one that told me about that. Okay, well, maybe you can help to, because I'm telling you, that was an important term when I was a kid to help me to understand the complexities of living in a multicultural country. I think people have a problem with it because it implies that culture is being destroyed to make a new culture. Man, no culture is eternal. The ancient Egyptian culture is gone from this planet. The ancient Greek culture is gone from this planet. You can still see echoes of that culture in the indigenous people that live in those places. But as far as that culture, it's gone. This idea that culture is this monolith that stands for all time, it's just not true. Cultures drift. Cultural drift is a thing. Look it up. Cultures move and are subsumed in ways and change small parts of a greater culture and become part of a great, and culture splits and changes, and like it's this big amorphous blob, and people want to act like each culture is this giant vault that can never be entered by another. That's just not the way culture works. Fast and furious cultural drift. Cultures not only can intermingle, historically cultures do intermingle. When cultures clash, there's oftentimes a time of violence and then an intermingling of culture. It happens all throughout history. All throughout history, you see a transfer of one very distinct culture, and then maybe through war, maybe through economic overextension, as with the Romans, that culture is sort of subsumed and adopted in part by some other culture. And that culture, even to this day, has turned out culture that is directly traceable to that strong Roman culture that was so regionally strong there. There, to this day in Italy, not only are there relics of that time that are kept and used, but there's evidence of that time in the speech of the people. There's evidence of that time in the cooking and customs of those people. So that culture never died. It just became something else. It became something new. You act like every culture is equally good. I really don't ascribe good and bad to culture, bro. When we're talking about mass human regional culture. Like I'm not talking about like subcultures, like, internet subculture. I'm talking about mass human culture. Like I really don't think it's my place to go that culture's good and that culture's bad. It's like if you were raised in that culture, you would think that culture's good. So it's on you to be the moral superior to an entire culture of people? How? Why? People talking about some cultures being inferior, usually just racist. It's a dog whistle most of the time, from what I've seen. Yeah, maybe so. I also don't think all human culture can be traced back to a single tribe. We evolved in multiple places simultaneously from our ancestral lineages. Right. Well, I mean, no. From what I understand about human beings, the human being came from Africa. The first human being was on the continent of Africa. And through thousands and thousands of years, spread from there northward to Europe and eastward to China and India. It's called Asia, Paul. Eurasia. We spread in one single push to the north and east at the same time. Sure. And then walked through deadliest catch to America. Yeah. No, Eurasia. No, Eurasia. Do you and TJ exchange gifts, birthday, etc.? Yeah, we do. No, we did not spread in one single push. That's disproven. Paleogenomics have proven that. Right. It was a number of different pushes at different times, right? It's not like we all just like and all settled in our, various spots. It's like there was a migration, a slow migration of human beings out of the Fertile Crescent, and right. Well, then I'm behind on the most recent reportings, and I apologize. Jawan is not a specter out of respect. See, let me explain to you something. Like, being bestowed specterhood in this chat, and let's not do a total aside because I want to stay on this topic, but being a specter in this chat is not necessarily me conferring like an honor upon you. It is me recognizing that you're a cool cat or whatever. But beyond that, like, it's actually an imposition because I expect people to fucking mod the chat if I give them, Spectre status, with the exception of a few people who I gave the status to just so I could I don't expect TJ to be up in here modding my chat, or Chelsea or whatever the fuck, Some people I just wanted to, these people I know in my real life, I wanted to distinguish their accounts. But being no, I don't want to put that on Jawan. That's why Jawan's not a Spectre. Jawan comes here to chill. He's always been a chill dude. He's been around for fucking ever, and that's that, Remember that one dude who banned a bunch of people behind your back last summer? I do. I choose my mods very carefully. The mod should be chosen by democratic vote. You're timed out. You're timed out. This is not a democracy. I'm the Reapers to the Spectres. I'm the Reapers to all of you. Like, you don't understand. The reason that I used Mass Effect lore is because I run this like a Mass Effect power structure. I am the Reapers. The Spectres are my opponents, just like everybody else in this chat. I kill specters at will. And through my machinations, specters are made because I allowed this to exist in the first place. I'm about to bust, but I'll listen while I can. Did you catch that pic I posted the other day of the turbine key pulled out of the Kentucky Lake Dam? The scale of our intrusion into the environment. Oh, the turbine they pulled out of the Kentucky Lake Dam. Oh, dude. I mean, yeah, I understand that, you can see these examples, but it, like, the global picture is so much more fucking bleak than these individual examples. People have been trying this individual and I'm not saying you're wrong to do it, but I'm just saying, like, since I was a kid, there's been pictures of icebergs falling into the oceans. The ice caps are melting. Sea levels are rising. The ocean is warming. Fish are dying off. Blah, 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 blah. You know, they want to point at this one fucking thing, and it's just like, globally, that picture, you have to understand all of the different kinds of damage that are being done. All of the different fucking mammals, fish, avian animals that have gone extinct in the last 100 years due to our fucking destruction and denuding of their landscape. Like, it's insane. The cost of our comfort is insane. The cost of our comfort is naturally flowing rivers becoming unnatural lakes and causing huge swaths of environment to disappear. Yep. Salmon runs so loud and visible that they scared horses. Yep. Salmon runs that churned the fucking rivers to a white froth. Churned miles of river to a white froth as the salmon headed upstream to spawn and die. Flocks of passenger pigeons. This is another Derek Jensen favorite, but true. Early fucking historians in the Americas described flocks of passenger pigeons that would blot out the sun for days as they migrated. The abundance was fucking unreal here. Unreal. Plains covered in million upon million of buffalo and bison. Gone now. Only exist as relics and privately held collection animals now. Just entire prairies. Like, the early Western settlers write about how the earth would shake as these herds of buffalo moved across the lands to different grazing positions. The fucking earth would shake for hours as they passed. You'd be able to just feel it in the ground, just a little bit. And that's just here in the Americas. Gone. What are you growling? You better leave that cat alone. I'm warning you. You showed your ass to that cat, D. That cat does not fear you at all. And that cat is gonna she's gonna do, he or she, and I'm pretty sure it's she, is gonna do you a swipe one day. You keep running up. Because she does not fear you anymore. You showed your butt. Thanks for the $5, Slanesh, but I'm not gonna read your shit. Like, I don't let people, like, I don't know who that person is that you mentioned, and I'm not selling fucking shout out time for people. Like, thanks though. My neighbors get a little pissed because I let dandelions grow in my lawn, but damn it, I want to help the bees. See, this is why, like, coming here and fucking giving me advice on who to check out or whatever has never been encouraged, dude. I'm not looking for it. Dude, where I am in my life right now, I don't need your input and shit. I don't know who that person you mentioned is. I don't know if they're a fucking rapper. I don't know if they're a fucking vlogger, but I don't give a fuck. I'm not looking for it. I'll come across it if it's tight, trust me. I'll come across it on my own, or I won't. Like, people don't understand, dude. This fucking gets my goat. It really does. I am not here to get recommendations from y'all. Like, period. About anything. Not only is it just not fucking interesting for a person watching that doesn't give a fuck to watch me endlessly respond to recommendations from people that I'm going to forget in 5 fucking seconds. And I've said this over and over and over and over and over and over again, dude. And it's no disrespect implied. But if I need advice, I've got multiple people that I can go to that I trust. So the constant, like and see, I really think there's a deeper thing going on here. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I think there is this constant, and it's connected to this phenomenon that I've been seeing more and more as time goes on the internet about how people interact with one another. And I don't know any other way to put it than the unwanted parent phenomenon, right? And it is connected. This is a mini fucking armed octopus that I'm describing here. But the unwanted parent phenomenon takes so many different fucking, like, forms. It's a hydra. It's a hydra, yo. There are people out there that want to tell you about your physical health all the goddamn time. There are people out there that want to tell you about your dietary intake all the fucking time. And that's just all they do. That's all they care about. That's all they want to do. There are people out there like literally want to be your parent. There are people out there that all they want to do is go like, oh, Paul's, musical taste is this, that, and the other thing. I'm going to put Paul up on game on some fucking artist he doesn't know about. Ba-bump, ba-bump, ba-bump. I'm going to be Paul's dad. Hey, son, listen to this. This is pretty cool. You ever heard of Pink Floyd? You know what I mean? Like, I'm 41. A lot of people tell me, like, they're going to give me advice about what I should do with my podcast. I'm 41, a business owner, and have been successfully fucking working and running my own business for 3 years plus. I'm not looking for your fucking advice or your input. The people that have input on that podcast are all 3 owners. You see what I'm saying? This show. What show? Paul should do this. Paul should do that. Less of this, more of that. Fuck you. This was never for you. I do this because I wanna. It's the reason I started doing them. It's the reason I continue doing them. When I don't wanna, I don't do it. So I've been fucking referring to it as the unwanted parent effect. where if you put yourself out there in any kind of public fucking way, there are just a fucking horde cloud of people. Some of them realize they're doing it, some of them don't, who just think it's their job to grab you by the hand and lead you down a certain fucking road or this, that. Paul, I think you're old enough for you and I to have the talk. Yeah. Hey guys, you know the standing two personal messages adding each other back and forth. Take it to DMs. Like the two of you just having a fucking off-topic argument. Parasociality was a fun exploratory topic. No, I agree.
And Subbed Hunter, you too. Take it to DM, Subbed Hunter.
Yeah, seriously. Quit adding each other. The fuck you talking about? This is not a fucking open chat room up in here. There's a goddamn show going on. Your contribution to that said chat should be in reference to the show. And if it's gone off the rails to the point where you're adding each other fucking multiple times in my chat, take it to fucking DMs. It's not even like that, Joanne. I don't look at myself as some kind of fucking teacher. It's just participate in the fucking conversation. You're like a person that's sitting at the table and everybody's talking about one thing and having a fucking interesting discussion about it. And then you're over there like trying to have this loud discussion about the Israel-Palestinian conflict or some shit simultaneously. Get the fuck out. I don't care if it starts as an offshoot. You guys aren't here to argue with one another. I don't even care if YouTube has DMs. Figure it out. Hook up on each other's fucking social medias or whatever. Get each other on the socials with one of these ats and then stop. You ain't here to fucking argue with one another. You're here to argue with me.
Yep. Squid, you just posted a comment saying squid. That's why you were timed.
Maybe she was trying to say squid were disappearing.
Yeah.
But whatever. You were just timed. Don't worry about it, squid. Everybody catches one once in a while. If you're going to hang here, you're going to catch one. You should feel gutsy just posting, Ann Prem Paul. You're like the dude that I fucking pardoned, and you're still walking around the court talking. You know what I mean? Like, you should feel gutsy just typing, much less adding anybody once, twice, or three fucking times. Now, I'm not saying you did it, but a couple of motherfuckers in here want to have a goddamn fucking argument in the goddamn chat. Just go. Make one of those ats, follow my Twitter, at fucking whatever, and go get each other on the socials and have a merry old fucking time. See, a lot of people see what I do. I get called draconian for what I do. All I want is to come here and have a chat-led discussion. I want to come here as a person that likes talking about a multitude of topics and have the chat ask me interesting, funny, and insightful questions that I can jump off onto and we can talk topically about. So I see what I'm doing as trying to prune the tree of my chat and maybe like, not to use terminology that's too self-aggrandizing, but train my audience in a little way to fucking interact with me in a way that's pleasing for both of us. Because all of the moments you guys like on this show come from that, one way or the other. From one bearded to guy, sorry, from one bearded guy to another, love your content, man. Well, thank you.
Got one lonely one left.
Yep. Paul, have you seen the Asian veteran who showed his war scars? Yes, I saw that clip. Imagine comparing getting timed out in a chat room to anything that once drew the adjective draconian. Dude, it is what it is, dude. Like, there are people that just don't want that conversation to happen. Let's be honest. There are people that don't want us to sit here and have a fucking conversation. There are people out there that just, they want to disrupt that. I can't fault them. I've done that before in my life, but weeding those people out of the conversation and or maybe trying to entice those people into joining it has created regular posters out of trolls before. Like, there are people that come to this on a semi-regular basis that used to be fucking 99% trolling it. In fact, I'm pretty sure that there's a couple of specters that have come up that way, where they started 100% trolling it, and now they're chilling and enforcing the fucking baseline rules that I try to keep this fucking shit going in some kind of direction that's interesting to anybody. Let me see this.
What's going on? I just want to check him.
He's just... Okay, you look okay. Is it just mom's hair bugging you?
Maybe so.
Did you have a mom hair in your ear?
Or it was just tickling him.
You got weed on your face. Not weed, but a weed. Ah!
Shit. I'm so sorry, honey.
That's you didn't do anything. I just spilled coffee all over my crotch. It's okay. You know what? Coffee crotch it is. Is there a sip left? Thank goodness it was lukewarm coffee and not hot coffee. Jump scare.
Yeah, you got healthy ears.
They look good.
Mom's hair was just tickling.
I think that's what it was, because I didn't see that until I went and grabbed him.
Yeah.
One of your wispy locks was draped over his ear. Stay salty, sir. Yeah, dude, I'll show you guys the damage. Look. Not only the damage of my fat body, by the way. It's more like coffee legs. It didn't hit me in the crotch, so that's good. Well, they're not white pants. They're just like those gray sweats or whatever, you know what I mean?
I'm probably gotta do laundry today anyways.
I mean, it's just like, whatever. These are sweatpants. We've all done it. It's happened to us all.
That was last night too.
What?
Spilling.
Oh yeah, you're right. I fucking dumped a whole drink last night too. Dude, I'm just prone to that shit though, to be honest with you. It happens a lot with me.
They need to make like non-knockoverable cups. They're still grown-up cups.
Yes, adult sippy cups. I've been saying this.
Just like really sturdy bases.
For everything though.
Yeah.
You drink your coffee out of it. You drink your water out of it.
Yeah. Some kind of like super thick base.
The unspillable cup. That would solve so much shit for me. My fashion sense is impeccable. Oh yeah, dude. Going for the devil may care, grabbed a t-shirt and grabbed a pair of sweats out of the fucking closet look, you know what I mean?
Hey, you ain't going anywhere today. You want to be comfy.
Coffee crotch happens. Respect for setting up expectations in chat. Sounds exhausting. It is, but it bears fruit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's all I really want here. Like, I want there to be a baseline of participation for people in the chat. I want there to be at least moments where this leads to fun things for everybody. And I also want to leave intact the guiding principle of this, which has always been like 95% of the time, the chat guides the content. And even when they don't, they kind of do. Like, I very rarely come to these with like I'm going to talk about this, or this. I show up and let you guys set that expectation because I find it to be interesting. A senior's sippy cup straw for spills, sips, and swill. Yeah, dude. Yeah, why not?
Just like some cool physics thing where it'll wobble, but it never spills.
Yeah, it's just like gyroscopically is like, you know what I mean? Like, it keeps all the liquid right there. That'd be cool. No matter how hard you hit it, it's always like,
Talked about restarting True Detective last night.
Oh, yeah. We're going to watch True Detective Season 1. It's probably my third time going through it. It's Amelia's first. Greetings. Have you talked about Matt Gaetz yet? Every day is another bit of creepy news about him. Yeah, I'm not up to date on today's creepy news about Matt Gaetz, but I did look into it. We talked a little bit about. See, we were talking about Matt Gaetz on Flash Friday, which is our news show the other day, where we kind of go through the news as it stands in the middle of the week. And I remembered him, and the guys went and confirmed it, as one of the guys that was behind spreading this big Pizzagate shit that was popular like 4 or 5 years ago. And it turns out that he is, right? So that's but yeah, I haven't been following the Matt Gaetz shit all very fucking closely, but the simple implication that he's under federal investigation for sex trafficking is seedy as fuck. Like, maybe a federal investigation for sex trafficking is started for somebody that's not in any way involved in it sometimes, but today they said he used the ATM at the hotels where he would meet his procured women, smoking gun, he's toast. Oh, shit. So you're talking about he would contract with somebody to bring him possibly underage, certainly sex trafficked women, and he had a hookup with that and would use the ATM at his hotel room, at the hotels where these alleged meetups were happening. I mean, to me, like, the smoking gun is the end of a federal investigation and shit. I mean, that's the ultimate smoking gun is, Matt Gaetz, you're guilty and you're going away for 25 years for solicitation of sex trafficking and interstate fucking whatever the fuck. I hope they throw the book at his ass, you know. To me, that's the ultimate smoking gun. Is the sentencing and Right. We have to keep that in mind. That's something, Zonster, I know you're familiar with, and I'm not accusing you of being one of these, but like, you know, if you believe at all in the American justice system, which, you know, I don't believe entirely in it, but I believe that it's based on principles that seem sound. I don't know that it's always carried out that way. Then, you know, you really should be on the side of innocent until proven guilty when it comes to shit like this. But of course, you know, it's fine also to make reasonable fucking deductions from information. You know, like that's all I'm saying. And like I said, I wasn't even pointing the finger at you, Zonster. You know, innocent until proven guilty and all of that shit, but you know, you don't want the publicly available evidence to keep piling up in a certain way. But, you know, I also try and keep in mind that we live at a time where any narrative can be spun. I really honestly don't believe that the national and international news media is incapable of spinning any kind of narrative. The day that changed was the day that I saw all, and it's still available on YouTube. Zonster, you may remember it. I can't even remember what the clip was about, but it was a day that I saw news people that worked for local affiliates, state affiliates, and nationwide affiliates all reading literally the same script across affiliates. It just went on and on and on. It was like news station after news station after news station. Some of them connected by network and some of them completely on different networks, reading and reading and reading and reading and reading the same fucking script. It's like, who distributed that?
And there's always like a ton of just copy pasted articles from like the AP especially.
It's just fucking, I don't know.
It's like where did the plagiarism laws go?
Right. Where did the antitrust laws go? True Detective, I could listen to Rust Cole all day. Have you seen any shows like it since? I've never seen a show that tackles pessimism head on in the way that True Detective Season 1 does. In the existence of the character Rust Cole. So no. Pessimism is widely available in film, but when it comes to the kind of the display of a philosophical pessimist, the only thing I really kind of dislike about Rust Cole is that it's almost implied that he was pushed to philosophical pessimism by the loss of his daughter. But I can't deny that my own personal tragedies led me down the road that I walked. You know, I've never experienced something like the loss of a child or the loss of a close sibling or any sibling or the loss of even a parent at this point. So.
I might try to wrangle you into Twin Peaks season 3 after this.
Yeah, we gotta watch Firewalk with me and finish it, and then we gotta watch Twin Peaks season 3. I haven't seen it, so I'm not comparing the two, but I thought Brockmire was a really good example of a pessimist protagonist, but it's a comedy, so of course they only explore it so much, right? I need expert level advice, Lamau. So does Paul agree with the mantra, the media is the enemy of the people? Yes. At this point in American history. See, I don't think the media should be the enemy of the people and always has been the enemy of the people. But I think at this point in history, the conglomeration of media has made it the enemy of the people. Overall. Not just one type of people, not just one people of one political persuasion, of all people. Because it really has become a factory for contextualizing and normalizing things that should never be normalized. the dropping of bombs, the imprisonment of children, the removal of children at the border on one side of it or the other by our political parties from their parents, and they're shipping off to these fucking containment facilities in the midst of a pandemic. The bubble economy and the constant undoing of regulation that's tried to save the American people from their wealth being distorted and then stolen from them. So yes, media is the enemy. Paul, what's the easiest way to eat mushrooms? I don't give people drug advice on this show for any price, but thanks for the $10. Fucking stupid. I just want to ban you, but maybe you'll give me $10 again. Maybe you're stupid enough to give me $10 again.
These are Googleable questions too.
No transphobia fucking bullshit in my chat. No fucking fake accounts of Phoebe using Phoebe's face and then fucking names like XY. Just stop it. It's based, but it's not fake news like Trumpers claim. It's biased, right? It's biased. It's biased, but it's not fake. What? You guys ever heard the quote, history is written by the victor? What do you how is that possible when history is written immediately and set down for eternal posterity as it happens in a world where information transfers instantly? I float that question to you. We can talk about what we're talking about, Lena. So if mass culture fits into what we're talking about, go ahead. How is history written when history is immediately written down for posterity and has to be contextualized immediately in a world where information transfers immediately anywhere on the globe, pretty much? The media writes it. The media is covering reality 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and has shown that they add narrative to reality and contextualization to reality based on which kind of news outlet that they are. So they are biased, opinion-based, narrative-driven chroniclers of instant history now. It comes out in the news, it must be trues. And you know what the sad thing about it is? Some of the stuff that comes out in the news is pretty much true. But discern it from the fake. Look how the media went to sleep on Jeffrey Epstein. Where's the 2020 ongoing investigation into that shit? Oh, Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. What? Look how the media just sleeps on Julian Assange, one of their own, by the way, that's been kept under fucking house arrest for like, what, a decade? You telling me that's just accidental? The Las Vegas shooter. Where did that go? You see what I mean? Narrative is crafted. History is written by the fucking victor. And in a world where history is written immediately, the media is the historian. And there's no way that you can have time to recontextualize something when something new's happening every fucking day. They control what you talk about. They control what you fucking think about. And if you think I'm wrong and you think I'm crazy, prove me wrong. Prove me crazy. Not a peep from these journalists that form the national. What was the national conversation about when Trump was president? Think about it. Day to day. Not on a big news day, but just day to day. What was the national conversation about in this country? The growing homeless crisis? No. The expanding fucking American negative influence of American corporations in third world countries and on indigenous peoples and indigenous ecosystems? No. The fucking massive waste dumps that our own companies are doing in our own environment here in the United States? No, it was Trump tweeted something. Trump's hairpiece kind of blew up. Trump had toilet paper on his foot. Russia, Trump, Russia, Trump, Russia, Trump, Trump, Russia, Trump, Trump. Why do you think that was? Do you think Americans needed to be informed on that? To the extent that they were? To the exclusion of all the fucking horrible and fucking really present things going on all over the world? Why does the Washington Post ever criticize, or why doesn't the Washington Post ever criticize Amazon? Does it have anything to do with Jeff Bezos owning that newspaper? No, dude, I'm sure not. They just don't have room, you know? They'll get around to it eventually, I'm sure. And I'm sure it'll be a scathing critique, too. You guys chill out for a minute. I'm going to go fill my fucking water cup up and take a leak. Yeah. Oh, ugh. Yeah. Hello, hello. How you feeling today, Pranab? Dude, I don't mean this in any fucking dude, no attempt to solicit nudes, but once you're all fucking healed up, dude, I want to see you, dude. You got to send me a picture of you flexing it out shirtless on your fucking vacation, dude. I want to see the fruits of your labor, dude. You got to promise me that. No homo intended, but a little bit of homo might come from it. I might size you up, you know what I mean? But I'm asking as a friend. That's what I'm talking about, man. I want to see the fucking fruits of your labor. I want the fucking finspo or whatever. I know that's not a good term anymore, but you ever sit in at fast food places pre-pandemic or nah? Nah. Every once in a blue moon. I'll tell you what, dude. There's an old way. I'm gonna go into this not super long, but there's an old way that McDonald's used to be designed, and every once in a while you will have one of these old school types of McDonald's, right? That are designed in a certain way. When people used to like, I can't explain it, but it's like people used to sit in more, or maybe it's in an area where people want to sit in more and just have some coffee. And I had one of those across from the place I lived when I was living in Dublin, Ohio. I lived in Dublin, Ohio for a month when I was first on the Drunken Peasants, right near Columbus. And I would travel in. Oh, that's the last. Yeah, that big fucking giant can. And there was a cozy McDonald's across from that place. And I was at a point in my life where I had like very limited funds. So I used to go there in the morning. I'd walk across there in the morning, not every day, but I'd go sit there, have a biscuit. Yeah, the play place is what I avoid. I'm looking more for like the old cafe style McDonald's, the old McDonald's, the pre-play place kind of McDonald's where it was like people came in and it was kind of quiet. Definitely wasn't overrun with kids on their way to school in the morning or whatever the fuck. Fuck that shit. Like old people and just working folks sitting around in there quietly having a fucking coffee and eating a fucking no. See, that's what I'm saying. The energy in that type of McDonald's for me is horrible. So I avoid that shit. All like the modern McDonald's shit. But every once in a while you find one of these old McDonald's that still run sort of like an old McDonald's and still services a clientele that's like an old McDonald's clientele. Working class folk and day laborers and stuff, just getting their stuff in the morning. Well, yeah, the play place. I never had a play place when I was 9. Those came after I was a teenager and shit. It was like the McDonald's I worked in at high school and college. A lot of World War II vets would come for coffee. They added a play place later, yeah. I don't know what they've done to that one. You could probably find it. It was right across the street from like, I'm trying to remember the name of it. You know those extended stay places? Like, you could probably find it. It was right across, it was in Dublin, Ohio, right across the street from like a fucking extended stay. And it was like a legit old school McDonald's. And the vibe in there was pretty chill in the morning, at least. So I would go there in the morning and have a cup of Joe Get a sausage biscuit or whatever the fuck, or a bacon biscuit, and just eat that shit. And it was a good way to start my day up. Watery black coffee from McDonald's, yeah. Kind of the rot gut stuff, you know. Notice I had a sickle and hammer on my hat the other day on the show. That warmed my heart, man. Slava Bogu, Tozvarich. There you go. I took it off. I had it on earlier. But I took it off. This is my Cold War hat. And this is a real, like, I don't know. It's probably not worth much, but this was bought in St. Petersburg for me as a gift. And this beanie was given to me as a gift by the same person. So I put the pin with the beanie. My friend Rodney got me both of these. Very cool. Is it gold plated? I don't think so. It's nowhere near heavy enough to be gold. I'm a communist. My nose is red. I'm a communist and I should be dead. Waiting for bread. Whatever. I bought one of those from a street vendor in Berlin. It was pinned on a fake fur Russian style hat. That's cool. That's neat. I just watched Shocker, Jesus Christ. Yeah, for real. It's the peace train, dude. I've been happy lately, thinking about the good things to come. And I believe there must be some new day to dawn. Riding on the peace train, take this country, make it whole again. Wasn't Jesus killed today? What is Easter? Easter is a sun. No, well, it's because isn't Easter supposed to be a Sunday?
Yeah. It's Good Friday today, I guess.
Okay, so it's Good Friday today.
Yeah.
So Good Friday is the day Jesus was hung up on the cross, right?
I don't know.
Because Easter Sunday is the day he rose from the dead.
Yeah.
And also the pagan fertility festival, because it marks the beginning of the harvest season and all of that. So they roll eggs and bunny rabbits.
I don't know. We haven't put our little Easter sign up.
Oh, yeah, that's true. We got to do that. We got to figure out how to do that.
At least for a couple days.
Yeah, it's got to go out there.
Yeah. April 4th. But guess what Cricket did in there? He spilled a cup.
Cricket.
A little bit got on your soundboard. Most of it didn't, but you just might want to double check your settings, because when I was drying it, some knobs might have.
Oh man, dude, he'd spilled a fucking cup on my soundboard. Cricket.
Most of it didn't get on it, but I might have hit some buttons when I was trying to dry it off.
Cricket. That's a ticket.
Yeah, it looked like it was pretty fresh, so I don't think it was sitting there or nothing.
That's a ticket. Do you use beard oils or anything? I do. I use a beard balm What's your Easter sign? I don't know what that is. Oh, you mean the thing that Amelia mentioned? We have a relative of hers sent us an Easter egg decoration, and we don't have many like holiday decorations.
Yeah.
So, when we have one, we try and put one out. So we're gonna put one out. I'm gonna put the Easter thing on the door. Pretty sure it depends on what type of Christian you are. I think it's Catholic Easter. Oh man.
I don't think so. I think Easter is just Easter. Because the whole Lent thing, like Easter is the end of Lent.
Well, isn't Easter the name you're not supposed to call it because it comes from Oster, which is egg?
I haven't heard that.
Like I've heard in like Protestant Christian communities, it's called fucking something else. It's like
you have to ask someone that's in that kind of church.
Because Easter is like a fucking pagan name for the day. Yeah. It's rooted in a pagan fucking word.
Let's see, alternative names.
Easter's a funny holiday. People trying to collect eggs filled with presents and treats. Well, that's because it's based on an old pagan fertility holiday. It signifies the beginning of the fertile time of the soil and the beginning of the vernal summer and all of that. And
I guess there's some speculation that it could be from the goddess Ishtar, but I'm having a hard time seeing like what else it's called.
Never mind the Christmas tree. Yeah, dude, the Christmas tree, another pagan symbol. Like Christianity was fucking like super adept. You got to give it props at this. It realized that to really start to win all of these like pagan people over to Christianity, they weren't going to do it at the tip of a sword. And so they had to start integrating these pagan religions into the Christian mythology. There was a whole fucking council on this, the Council of Nicaea, not necessarily about this, but where they decided whether Jesus was a man or a literal god. And there were all kinds of different opinions about what Jesus was and how he should be portrayed at the Council of Nicaea.
I guess some people call it Resurrection Day.
Resurrection Day.
I don't know if it's super popular. Did you hear about that Peeps Pepsi though?
Oh yeah, we talked about it on, I think a Grease Trap or something. So gross. Why? Who would do that?
And they have that coffee Coke out now.
Ugh.
Just leave the base sodas alone.
Yeah. Peeps Pepsi, dude, I know. Trust me, I know. Our culture has created something vile and wicked and wrong. Peeps Pepsi, dude. Everybody's worried about those fucking Lil Nas X demon shoes, but it's the Peeps Pepsi. That's always been the problem.
That might be a fun episode. Like worst holiday gimmicks. Like that all black Whopper.
Oh, God. Oh. Yeah. What was that called? The Spooky Whopper or whatever it was?
Something like that, yeah.
The Fright Whopper. It's hideous, dude. The Romans made peep-flavored garum right before their empire fell. Well, there you go.
you ever liked Peeps?
No.
No.
I actually had a person in my life at one point that used to troll me with Peeps.
Yeah.
Yeah. My ex-mother-in-law would every Easter send me a giant thing of different kinds of Peeps because she knew how much I hate them.
Did you just give them away?
Yes. But you can't give away a Peep because nobody likes them, so usually they ended up getting thrown away. But
You could have done it for all the kids.
Dude, trust me, I would try and I'd give them away,
Yeah.
but they would just get thrown away. You like Peeps? See, Zonster, I could have mailed you all this crazy, because she used to get crazy with it. Like one year she sent me, instead of sending me a variety of Peeps, she sent me like a giant Peep. It was literally like a Peep that weighed 3 pounds or some shit. It was hideous. It was hideous. But I could have sent you that, and that would have been like, you would have been in fucking heaven.
You ever gotten that good Easter bunny too? That's solid chocolate, not hollow.
Every once in a blue moon when I was a kid. When I was a kid, my parents used to go all out. Well, not all out, but Easter used to be a thing.
Yeah.
We had big ass Easter baskets that we used every year, and we would set them out along with 2 carrots every year.
Yeah.
And then my parents would wait for us to go to sleep, and they would eat part of the carrot and leave the stump there.
Yeah.
And they would do up the Easter baskets all crazy and put all kinds of. Most of it was candy, but there was a couple little like cheap toys in there.
She would put out like the empty basket and then fill it back.
She would have us put out the empty baskets at night with carrots, and then we would leave it out there, and then we'd go sleep, and the Easter bunny would come and eat the carrots, fill the baskets with candy and toys, and wrap them all up with like that plastic, that pink and blue plastic, and put bows on them and everything, and we'd go out in the morning and see that and go, grab our baskets and open them.
See, my mom didn't focus on the Easter bunny part.
Really?
She just wanted to take credit for it.
She was just like, this is not from the bunny, this is from me.
Yeah,
that's
the
cool.
Easter egg hunts at my grandma's house, she took credit for those too.
She's like, I hid the eggs. Whatever. You didn't have to go through the sadness of learning that it was just your parents pulling a fucking mean joke on you all this time, you know?
They didn't even want to try with that one.
Yeah. But I like them hollow chocolate bunnies, dude. I got no problem with them. Oh, fuck. Anyway, I'm done. I'll see you guys later. Bye.